Halo Combat Evolved has been heralded as a classic shooter and one that is very revolutionary. But, does it still hold up today? I'm Space Wizard, and let's find out. Alright, so Halo Combat Evolved came out all the way back in 2001 for the Xbox. Combat Evolved was also one of the titles to launch off the game console, and it was shown to get audiences excited for the game console. The game has also been remastered a few times, but today we're just going to be talking about the original. Alright, so here's the basic story without spoiling too much. So the Pillar of Autumn, a marine ship, is fleeing Breach after it has been overrun, and the Covenant are pursuing the ship and eventually attack it. And they crash land on a ring, which is known as a halo. So the halo is believed to be a weapon, and it is up to Master Chief and Cortana to save the Earth from the Covenant. And the basic story is pretty darn good. There are some good twists and turns here and there, and the characters are really good. Of course, you've got Master Chief, who is a strong and stoic character, a really just awesome guy. You've of course got Cortana, his partner, and she's a very helpful AI. And you really get to connect with her over the games, but this is one that starts it all off. Of course, you also have Jacob Keyes, Captain Jacob Keyes, who's also a pretty darn good character as well. You don't see him throughout the entire game, but you do get to see him a little bit here and there. Once you really start going, the story starts to really grip you and hold you tight until you finish it at the very end. Yes. So speaking of the story, the game is divided up into levels. There are a lot of really good levels, including, of course, the Silent Cartographer, as well as one of the creepiest levels in all of the Halo games, and that is 343 Guilty Spark. And yes, there are so many memorable levels in this game. Most of the levels are a blast to play through, and some can be pretty challenging too with all of the enemies that are thrown at you. The levels in this game really stick with you. They're very memorable. And I do admit there's one level that most Halo fans hate, and that is the library. It is labyrinthian, and the design of it is pretty similar throughout the entire mission, so it's pretty hard to find your way around. That's probably the only level that I don't really like, but the rest of them are really good. So since this is a shooting game, of course you'll need some enemies to fight. So you've got the Grunts, which are just kind of the small and weak Covenant warriors. They're not very powerful, but when they gang up on you, they can be a little formidable. But for the most part, they're just kind of silly and easy to take out. Then you have the Elites, definitely the stronger of the Covenant, and they have armor, so you have to shoot for the armor. They can also sometimes carry energy swords, and yeah, they're pretty formidable. You have, of course, the Jackals, which carry these round energy shields that can be pretty annoying and can be pretty hard to take down from a far distance, but when you get up close you can melee them and take down their shields. And then you have the Hunters, these really big guys that have fuel rod guns. They can be very formidable, they can blow you up pretty easily, but they do have a weak spot, so once you get that weak spot you're golden, but if you don't get the weak spot then they take a while to get down. Those were the Covenant, but also in the game are introduced this new race. You have the Floods, who are these like infected little guys. They start a little small and seem pretty harmless. They look kind of like popcorn, you know, so yeah, it looks pretty easy, but then when they start grouping up it starts getting pretty chaotic, and then eventually they can take over beings and run after you and start beating you up. So yeah, they can be pretty formidable. And the first level that introduces them is just so amazing. It's probably one of the best levels in the game, and yeah, it turns you from being just like a super awesome action hero to being a survivor. It's amazing. So there aren't exactly a lot of enemy types in the game, but they are pretty darn good. All of the enemies that are in the game are pretty good and do present a challenge. And of course, to fight these guys you need weapons. So you have, of course, the classic assault rifle, you have sniper rifles, you also have a pistol, which is actually really good in this game. You have a plasma pistol, which is, of course, one of the weapons that the Grunts use. You can pick that up from there. You also have a plasma rifle, which I believe is from the Elites. You have rocket launchers, which of course are a marine weapon that are pretty darn powerful. You have a needler, which shoots needles, of course, as the name says. And you have, of course, grenades. One normal one where you can just throw it, and a plasma grenade which sticks. And there's also, of course, the shotgun. Yes, all of the weapons are pretty darn good. I do admit I don't like the assault rifle as much. I think it's pretty good as a weapon, but it's not the best weapon in the game. Personally, I do prefer the shotgun, the sniper rifle, and the pistol over the assault rifle. But yeah, all of the weapons are pretty darn good. They're fun to use, and just makes killing enemies a lot of fun and very satisfying. Now we've got pretty much the main meat of the game. Let's talk about some of the few other stuff. Of course, you have the graphics. The graphics are pretty darn good for its time. Of course, the remastered looks amazing, but the old graphics look nice. They do have this nice old graphic charm to it. which I really enjoy. There are some models that I do prefer in the remastered version, but overall the graphics in the original are pretty nice. Of course they're not, of course, like next gen graphics, but you know, like I said before, they just have that nice old charm to it. Then of course the soundtrack is so amazing, easily one of the best game soundtracks ever. Just such a really epic and powerful soundtrack. Like of course there's like I think it's called Rock Music to Save the World or something like that. It's just so amazing. There's a lot of electric guitar as well as some orchestral stuff and some vocal stuff. Just was really well put together and just really epic. Really gives the game an even grander and awesome feel to it. And of course you also have the voice acting. The voice acting in this game is really well done. And yeah, it's just everything about this game is really well done. Overall, this is an absolute classic game and definitely deserves all the praise that it gets, and in my opinion, one of the best Halo games to have been made. And alright, so, I give this game, of course, a 6 out of 6, which on my rating scale, of course, is a must-play. Thank you for watching, I hope you've enjoyed this review. I'll be reviewing Halo 2 next, probably, or maybe, possibly, Assassin's Creed Origins. We'll see. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching.